GM Adrian, here we go.
Hi.
This week's been already weird. It's Tuesday. I'm all confused.
Yes. Are we doing a news show or CastOut?
I have no idea. We're doing both.
Okay.
We're doing both because it's Tuesday and we're normally not on, but we're on today because you had jury duty yesterday. So, and that may happen again. So I don't know what we're going to be doing over the next couple of weeks, but one day at a time. We're good for this week. So we're going to be jumping in. We're going to talk about Farcaster news at the top. And then we're going to roll into a CastOut vote reveal and recap of the challenge and introduce the next challenge. There's a lot. So before we
buckle up.
So before we dive into all of that, here's a little intro. We'll be back in 40 seconds. Welcome to GM Farcaster, bringing you everything from breaking news to spicy memes to the deep lore shaping this vibrant digital community. More than just a show, GM Farcaster is your digital third space where the community connects, the stories unfold, and the culture thrives. Whether you're a daily caster or just dropping by, we've got the latest buzz to keep you plugged in. So grab your coffee and let's dive in with your hosts, Nanish Prof and Adrian, for another episode of GM Farcaster. GM Farcaster. It is Tuesday, May 20th, and you are here with Nanish Prof and Adrian for 29 minutes of Farcaster news to start your day, plus our CastOut episode 7, technically. I'm really hating the way my hat is tilted. I don't know what's just bugging me, and I can't quite get it right. But anyway, and I also need to just give this a little retweet out. Let people know we are live chatting Farcaster news. So Adrian, how was jury duty? I do not hear you.
No, you don't. I had jury duty yesterday. It was for federal court. They don't mess around. I'm on call for a freaking month. A month.
A month.
But
that's insane.
You have to call every weekend for a month. So I got called in yesterday, didn't get selected for a jury. Yay. But I got to go back. I got to call again. And maybe I have to go back I don't know. I'm still on call. Okay. They have an excuse.
So for the rest of the week, you're good. And then you got to
take away your electronics, no phone, no Kindle, which come on, Kindle there's like no connectivity to it. And luckily I had an actual physical book with me and I read for 4.5 hours.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, nice little time to get caught up on some reading, but also would die.
What?
Would die. Oh my God, had to be a murder trial.
Ooh, a murder trial.
Jeez. Wow.
How was that?
Yeah. And the other thing I was thinking yesterday, I was like, oh, she's definitely not going to get called for a jury this week because Memorial Day weekend's coming up. But then I was thinking, you know what? They probably have them report because then there are prosecutors going, you better make a deal. We're ready to go. We don't care. And they're just basically, not the person, but like the lawyers who don't want to work the rest of this week, trying to get them to make a deal. So that's probably what's going on.
Yeah. And actually, and I didn't get a chance. I didn't get called into the room, but I was preparing my plea for why I couldn't serve on jury duty. And it's because I'm a startup founder. And how do you it's not like we've got employees. Like
no one pays,
I'm the only one
no
who
one
can
pays
do this.
me. Yeah. No one, I mean,
yeah, there's no
replacement for Adrian.
So
there's no replacement.
Didn't need to use that.
I mean, it's good. I want to hear that conversation. I'm sorry. What? Don't you know me? I'm the star of GM Farcaster. I'm very important. I need to go. Oh man. Yeah. I'm sure there'll be a lot of interesting experiments. I'm normally somebody who says like, do your duty, do your jury duty, do your civic duty. I think it's important. It can be really interesting. It's important to, make sure our systems run, but also a month is a long time. Like, that's a bit much.
It's a long time. And I felt bad because I can't really I didn't tell you till Sunday night. And then I was like, oh, by the way, now you have to go find someone else to do this.
Well, I mean, we kind of knew it might happen. I just really didn't think it would this week. I really thought it would, just not. I didn't think this week for some reason. I really didn't. I thought you'd be safe.
And I'm also of the opinion we should do civic duty and everyone should be good citizens. However, I'm also of the opinion that there's too many lawsuits.
Way too many.
And
federal's a little different. There's a lot more in state courts that could be, I mean, this could be an email kind of situation.
No, take it outside.
Yeah, take it outside. Like, get over it. I agree with that 100%. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Federal, usually not as many in that vein. It's usually more state courts. But anyway.
Anywho,
still,
Farcaster news. Let's
talk some Farcaster news. We have had some things happening, but it's been relatively quiet. But we know something big's coming this week. I just don't know what it is. All right. So let's dive in to a couple things that we missed from last week. So this is from Brad Q, who always starts us off with the 29 seconds of Farcaster news. And you can also subscribe and get this to your inbox or to your notifications on Warpcast via Paragraph. So 29 seconds of Farcaster. What did I miss this weekend? No GM Farcaster today. That was yesterday. Mo dropped a great mini app to view starter pack feeds in app, and we were going to talk about that. V cast a primer on rewards. Most notably, it scores your top 50 casts. He also did a banger AMA, and the link is there if you want to check that out. Lots of FarCon Rome talk with rolling up to FarCon memes, but also side combos about FarCon being a DAO or run by Merkel and still having a US version. TBD. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Bracky was busy with NBA playoffs, PGA Championship. Hey, and CastOut also.
Bracky's very busy.
He's very busy. This week in mini apps featured Keckers and JC4P, hosted by Horsefacts. And under the radar, but appreciated, J.Fin Energy to spur intentional degen tipping again. Lastly, Burtworth graduated from intermediate puppy school, which can we just start there? Like,
yes,
I can't even look at little face. Oh my goodness. So darn cute. I can't stand it.
Bert is so photogenic.
So photogenic. Just, I'm sorry. I know I'm like crazy because we talk about Bert a lot, but he makes me just very happy to see on the timeline. And also, so they, I think it was Dan who posted coming soon. The Arch is coming back. Oh, also Farcaster. Coming soon. The Arch is coming back. And then, Bert Worst. Why not? Why not? And then I started, seriously though, seriously, for real. Do you remember Clubhouse used to do that? I don't know if you were on Clubhouse at all during like that brief moment of time when it popped off before Twitter Spaces existed. It was just audio rooms, and there was a lot happening around NFTs and crypto that happened on Clubhouse. But they would change their icon in the App Store each month to reflect one of the big creators on Clubhouse. And I was like, ooh, new reward for the weekly rewards. What do you think? I think that could be fun. So just a thought. Seems like a lot of work. Probably won't happen, but how cute is that?
Not a priority, but adorable.
but how cute is that? All right.
Where's Clubhouse today?
Clubhouse is, I think, still kicking, but not doing anything in terms of numbers. It was great tech, and it was very interesting. And during COVID, it had a moment. It was an A16Z thing. And they took to that. Like, they did a Saturday Saturday night dinner party, all during COVID. And it was, which one was it? I don't know if it was Andreessen or Horowitz. I think it was Horowitz. His wife, was the host, and he was also on there. And then there would just be like random, really interesting people, and it felt like a dinner party. Like MC Hammer would just be up on stage talking about like space. I'm not even kidding. Like, that was an actual conversation. I was like, what is happening right now? And it was it was a lot of fun. So it had its moment. some new stars were made, but then Twitter Spaces popped off, and that was the end of that because it's hard to compete when you have that kind of distribution. Okay, back to the news. And if you're in the chat and you remember Clubhouse, shout it out. Curious if anybody else was in the rooms. This was the big news from last week. This was Friday. I think this happened. Cello. I think we come out to Cello. I'm going with Cello. By the way, looks like the thing looks like an upside down arch, which is kind of funny. I know it's a C, but it looks like the arch, like kind of cool. Cello is now supported in mini apps and wallet. Starting today, Farcaster users can send, receive, and swap any asset on the Cello blockchain. The Cello team will be offering an airdrop to a group of Farcaster users later today. You'll get an in-app notification if you're eligible. Check the cast below for Cello Builder Starter Pack and information for developers. So this was really a cool flow. And I had mentioned this, and then Linda had commented back, because once you claimed the airdrop, it had a link right into the thread with everywhere you could use the airdrop. I didn't see my notification at first, and then all of a sudden it was there. Like I just overlooked it. So be careful. Like sometimes you've got it and you just don't think you have. And then this was from Linda. Excited to see the new ecosystems coming into Farcaster. Huge thanks to Daniel Sloak Blockheim for building this Cello airdrop tool, Sophia and the wonderful Cello team, Ted on community work, and the day one Cello mini app builders, and lots more. And one of those mini apps was this one. This was really kind of fun. Made a new quiz app for the Cello launch, a personality quiz that they made me take during a Google internship a decade ago. Then they told me I got the answer wrong. They got the wrong answer. Flu. Find yours, which is really funny. Like, what was the right answer?
I don't know, but that's everyone on Farcaster's orange.
Everybody's orange.
Everyone's orange. So I'm going to go orange is correct.
But maybe that's not what they're hiring for at Google.
Yeah, I cracked up because I also had a similar experience with this once, like doing trainings. It was like there was some psychological assessment. And they're like, there's nothing wrong. I mean, like everything's right. We're just looking to understand. And then no, there was clearly a right answer.
That's so funny. That's really funny. So I was orange, you were orange, TLDR was, everyone I saw was orange, which is energetic, spontaneous, charismatic, and witty, of course. But it just happens that orange is also my favorite color, so it's kind of funny. But it was a fun little way to play around with Cello and use your airdrop. I used a few different things. I minted stuff and played around, so it was fun. Curious to see, what else comes from that. This is from V. Airdrops are from apps trying to get users. If someone is consistently not using apps and selling airdrops, I suspect devs will not be excited about sending them tokens, unless there is a compelling reason to be convinced that you won't do it this time. So, and this was a quotecast of Jan Furler. Okay, maybe I wasn't clear enough. I don't sell any of the airdrops I've received from Farcaster. They're all just sitting in my warplet and not going anywhere. But I don't like having my mini app library full of stuff I don't actually use. So once I claim an airdrop, I'll usually delete the app if it doesn't feel useful to me. Why would I have Wallet Connect mini app, for example? Same goes for following accounts. I don't like following people or products I'm not genuinely interested in. So I think what he was talking about was more the flow and like what the requirements were, but also I'm not sure I agree. I usually, and I think what you'll find is most people, once they add a mini app, aren't going to take the effort to go. If they added it just for the airdrop, they're still going to have it there most of the time. And then if there's a compelling reason to use it, they'll return to it. I think that part, I understand what he's saying. Give me reasons to use your thing as well, not just monetary.
Right. Well, I think this whole thing came out of like, why are some people not getting airdrops?
Right.
And the discussion of their, and there's different types of airdrops, but if you're getting an airdrop and you immediately sell it all and don't use the app,
yeah,
even if you are a, top 10 active Farcaster user, potential airdroppers, and probably why are they giving you a token? Why are they going to give you an airdrop?
Yeah,
They're ultimately looking for users.
exactly.
And I think what he's saying is it's not so much selling, but I don't want it, like, they want you to use their app. But if you're constantly removing the app right away, that could be indicative of you're not someone who wants to, like, you
try
might
things.
not sell the token, but you're not going to try as much.
But also, if you're doing an airdrop, I also would encourage you from the other side of, and I think that Cello did this very well, is make sure you have things for people to do if you want them to use your token on your chain in particular.
Something,
like,
yeah.
And that was a bit of the problem with the Wallet Connect one. The only thing you could do was stake it. So
I thought that Wallet Connect was good, though, because it was such a clear of, like, if that was what they wanted you to do, which was like they just fed you right into staking. What's missing is the why. It's all the messaging and the storytelling. And I think people don't understand how much noise there is out there.
Yeah.
Like, how many L1s are there? How many L2s are there? How many different projects are there? And not everyone has, like, people don't have name recognition yet. So you have their attention, like, for one day. How are you, like,
how are you
it's not
using that
enough to
attention?
just give them a token and then expect them to go do the research to figure out what this token is used for. Like, you've got their attention. You've got to get your story out.
Make the most of it while you have the attention, because you're only going to have it once. And so don't blow the shot, kind of thing. It's, I feel like I should break out into Hamilton. Like, I'm not throwing away my shot. Seriously, though, like, make the moment worthwhile to the users and for you while you have that attention. I think that's great advice from you, for sure. And this was from Linda and that same topic. These were the first batch of 10 airdrops to Farcaster users, 110K so far. Early on, as projects target potential new high-quality users, they're factoring in how likely is this user to convert, not a retro airdrop. Sometimes projects choose to exclude users if there have been multiple prior airdrop sales in the past, not if you sold one. Put yourself in their shoes. If a user immediately sold multiple prior airdrops, they're probably less likely to convert, and you can give to another user who is a higher likelihood. That said, you won't be perma-banned forever for selling multiple, as this is building some data early on, and there will be factors that can help outweigh. Post high quality content, use mini apps, do on-chain transactions. And also, just a side note on that too, each airdrop may have different requirements anyway. So they might be looking for different people to do different things at different times. Team has been slammed, but we'll have more info support on airdrops later. On list is definitely to show more token info. That's why I manually post info for now, since not built in. As Farcaster grows and becomes more valuable to target, airdrop amounts will naturally be larger too. So be a good airdrop recipient and you'll get more. And you never know where that's going to be, where that's going to go. And this was from Burberry, Melissa Burr. If you want to be a good airdrop candidate, don't immediately sell the airdrop. If you don't like it or it's not worth it, simply don't claim it and trigger the negative consequence when you sell it. Instead, wait and see what the market reaction is. If this $7 is worth claiming, interact with the protocols, use their product. If you like their product, cast about it. If you really like it, cast open feedback and help the team that gave you free tokens. All in all, this is an opt-in and opt-out system. As users optimize your behavior to be properly incentivized, or simply don't claim and no negative consequences will occur. But please stop bitching, Linda, about how unfair the negative consequences are if you're just using these airdrops and providing zero value to the project. I always like that you get the very nice, polished, professional Linda, and then you get Burr just like brass tacks. And I love that about her so much. Like, brass tacks, listen. If you don't want it, just don't freaking claim it and stop you bitching. Which I kind of love, which is amazing. So I think that's, keep an eye out. There's going to be more. We had Toady Hawk on here earlier. When was that? Friday. I don't know what day it is anymore. Friday, and he was super helpful in terms of talking about that as well. And they're getting ready to do an airdrop as well. So get ready for that. coming soon. We had some alpha. All right, couple more things, and then we're going to dive into CastOut. Here's a quick primer on how Warpcast Creator Rewards work. We'll be adding this to the Rewards mini app and keeping it updated as the algorithm changes. So you can go just take a look at this. It does sum up the scores from the top 50 casts, score each cast based on engagement, and adjust score based on number of followers. So in other words, if you have a smaller follower count, it doesn't hurt you. It actually can be a boost. So it's to give those who are newer a little bit of a push. So there you go. This was something that V casted the other day, and I'm curious to see what you think. Adrian, would you pay for a pro storage unit that gave you longer casts, 10K characters, up to 4 images or embed per cast, profile upgrades, links to other socials, banner image, etc.? For creators, this would help level up their content and profiles. Assume it costs around $10 a month and revenue goes to weekly rewards. And my response was this. So that was my thought. I don't know what your thoughts are, but that was my thought immediately, was please take my money. But also, can I have one more thing? And that is the ability to tag more than 10 people. Because that's why I end up doing this weird thread when I'm doing shout outs for each episode. So I'd love to be able to do just 2, where the first one was, everybody who we talked about, and then the second one was the chatters. But instead, sometimes I'm doing, 6 to get everybody tagged. So thoughts? What do you think? You're muted.
Sorry. I'm very fidgety today. Agreed. I think they should add in a, if FID equals 4617. What are you? 40 something?
4167.
4167. Okay, close. Then allow infinite number of spam
tagging. Please let me just tag everybody.
FGM Farcaster. No, I think this is great. I love the idea.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense. And the reasons come down to costs is what it comes down to, basically, and the expenses of the additional images and things like that and storage costs. So most people won't need that. Some of us are crazy and are already full or getting close to it yet again and have like 4 storage units.
Right. And you want to bring the cost of a storage unit as low as possible because you want to let people join.
Right. Like they want to get this down to 0, essentially.
Right. And so if you want to get that to 0, okay, well then how are you going to fund the protocol? And then I think this is a great way. I'd happily, I like the freemium model, and I'd happily pay for some extra features.
Yep. Same. So
what I don't want to see is like the if you don't pay, your experience sucks. Like you have to make sure the baseline kind of basic version is decent, and you can, do everything you need to do. And then, you want to, if you can pay for some extra features because you're a power user, great.
Right. Yeah. I think that makes the difference. I think that's a really good point, because there's so many times when the basic is just so bad, or you've got Twitter, you've got ads galore. I have multiple accounts, and I have one that's premium, basic premium, whatever that is. It used to be really good and it keeps getting worse. And then I have other ones that have nothing on them, and they are horrible to deal with. Like, I hate it. So there's definitely make it like baseline good, and then power user, features that we would want and need that other people just probably don't care about at all. And they'll be perfectly happy with free. Yeah. All righty. Continuing on, we've got a couple more quick things. May 16th dev update video. So V is now doing videos for each of the dev updates. So take a look at this. On the agenda was Solana, Farcaster rebrand, verifications, and SnapChain incident. That's when SnapChain had some issues. We had some downtime there, and things were sort of backed up. So a few other things, the Solana thing being probably the biggest next thing coming, I think, is there's going to be a lot more development on Solana. So there's a whole bunch of things happening with that shortly. So transaction support is coming very soon. Might be this week, I think. I'm not sure. So that's exciting to see. This from Ted. This is a little long, but very useful. One of my only requests to Farcaster as more users join and reactivate. Building from zero on any platform is hard and can feel extra hard when it seems there's already a strong in-group, as it seems here. If someone joins or rejoins and says it's hard to grow here or that engagement is tough, I encourage you to find truth in it before getting defensive or snarky. All right. The latter isn't going to keep anyone around, but the former might. I feel like mom is like scolding us, but in a good way. I mean that with love.
Have you been snarky? She's not talking to you.
No, I know, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe I probably. You know what? I have been, but just in my head, not in an actual cast. The latter isn't going to keep anyone around, but the former might. I would love to see Farcaster lean in and embrace new and reactivated users by replying to new users as much as you expect them to reply to you, sharing. Oops, sorry. Things going up. Sharing what's worked for you or others. If you see someone share their struggles and acknowledging it does take time and effort. Make someone feel heard, not unwelcome or inadequate. We want Farcaster to grow. Let's be the reason someone sticks around and not the reason they leave. And I love this down below. Shout out to Keckers, Matthew B, Brad Q, Afrochicks, Garrett, and many more who are really good at engaging with all users. I have moments of snarky that mostly stay in my head. Like and it's not new users for the most part, unless they're very spammy and obviously bots or whatever. When they're just like basically stealing other people's casts and recasting them. Like, no, not even recasting, but like top casting them.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, I'll see somebody who comes back. And I'm always, if they're a big account on crypto Twitter, I'm always a little hesitant because like, why are you here now? Oh, you heard we're getting money. I'm just very, I guess, jaded. It's the word. I'll be better. I'll try to be
You're
better.
human.
Try to be a little better. Yeah.
Do you find it easier if you're seeing new people who don't have audiences elsewhere?
Yeah, no problem whatsoever. Yeah, I'm I think I'm pretty encouraging. And if they're, sort of what you call like the friend of a friend, like somebody introduces them, then I'm going to be even more so follow them, try to reply, things like that. So I'm just kind of kidding, but there's been moments, there's been a couple that I'm just not really interested in engaging with. You know who you are. Anyway, moving on. This was helpful. This is from Mo. Starter Pack Feeds, a new mini app to view feeds from any starter pack. Here's a feed from the Independent Journalist Starter Pack by Ted, Independent Journalist-GINSE 9. Or check out the homepage to see a list of curated starter packs. Want a custom feed of a set user? Create a starter pack in Warpcast and view it here. So super helpful. I think that's a great way to use starter packs. And that way you can kind of have this custom feed and just see all those things. So love that. This from our friend Ryan of The Creators. Every creator on Base is invited to a global pizza party 2025. The Creators is partnering with PizzaDAO and Own the Doge to invite all artists, musicians, and creators in the Base creator directory to the Bitcoin Pizza Day Creator Party. We're cooking up chaos for the most legendary food order in crypto history. Create a meme, music track, or piece of art celebrating Bitcoin Pizza Day, May 22nd. And the deadline is May 21st, tomorrow. Follow the Creators, PizzaDAO, and Own the Doge for information, and check out this cast from Ryan. So lots of fun things on the line there to win. This I'm really interested to hear your thoughts on. FarCon 2026 has officially, interesting use of word, been decided by the Farcaster community, and the results were shockingly close. See you all at FarCon Rome next year. Here's to the ETH crew accepting this large responsibility. Limone, 0x Caso, it's mighty.eth. And you and then here's to Farcon Tokyo 2027 Yuki. Okay. So there were 140, probably 153 votes, I think, in this. I actually didn't even see it. And then this was from Lamoni. Me and the Irby ETH crew are all in, no hesitation. We're thrilled to bring Farcon to our city and grateful to everyone who voted for Rome. For the past 3 years, we've been bootstrapping the Italian builders ecosystem from the ground up, and Farcon will only take that to the next level. More coming soon. And then one more thing, and then I'm going to chat about this. Pulling up to Farcon like. So apparently Moon Poppy is going to be in his best Pope wear. That should be fine. Pulling up to Farcon like this, your Farcaster Rome fits, and then pulling up to Farcon like this from Horsefax with a little bit of Zoolander, but also one more thing here. Horsefax and Llamafax met finally. So this could be them. You know, this could be us. There you go. Okay. So, Adrian, Farcon Rome. Thoughts?
Well, you're saying it's been decided.
Officially, apparently.
Officially. Okay, this is giving
This happened
it
last
reminded
year.
me of what happened last year after Farcon, which is Farcon happens. Everyone is so excited. People have to immediately know where the next one is so we can start looking forward to something. And there's always excitement. The beauty of Farcon so far with the 3 is it's been a different group of volunteers organizing it each year. It has slightly different flavor every year. So I think it's beautiful. What happened last year I think there's a little bit of confusion around what it means to run a community organization that is kind of, is it permissionless, the brand? Is the brand, like who owns it?
Yeah.
And if you remember last year, people kind of quickly jumped into like which city's going to take it. I think Tokyo took it, launched a token to like raise money right away.
Yeah.
Borrowed some branding and some design. People who had organized, took offense. And there's a little bit of I have not seen the published how to do Farcon, right? It's like everything's kind of, we're creating it as we go, but
building the plane while we're flying.
Yeah. So there is some element of like people, it's like if you step up and show leadership, you can take it, but I don't know if that's exactly how it works exactly in reality. So I think it's like, I think it's super cool to see the Rome crew and just like even Europe in general. I'd love to see more kind of global style conferences and meetups.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't book your flight yet if you have.
We'll see how it all plays out. When I'm thinking about this from my perspective, and I can think about this from anyone in Europe, I think there absolutely should be multiple Farcons, period. Like, especially if you don't want them to be 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people, then that's the only way to scale this and have it still have a little bit of that cozy vibe. So, 400 to 500 is a good number because it's big enough to accommodate quite a few people, but also small enough that you can actually still talk with a lot of those people. You're not going to get to everybody, but you're still going to have a better experience in terms of being able to connect and actually feel like you're meeting, your friends that you've met online kind of thing. So the way I kind of see, or I hope this plays out, is that we have multiple and that they happen at the same time. And then we somehow connect those digitally, where maybe you have a keynote from Dan and Barun that's happening in Palm Springs or something, and it's being beamed over to Rome, and it's being beamed to Tokyo and wherever. So that's kind of, I don't know, just my 2 cents. We'll see how everything plays out. There's also some discussion of like, maybe it's time for Merkel to be more involved, especially now that they have a little bigger crew. it wasn't going to happen when it was Dan and Baroon in any way, shape, or form, or Dan and Baroon and engineers. Also not going to happen. But Dan and Baroon, engineers, Linda and Ted, now it's possible. So it's, we'll see how that plays out as well. So, I honestly am just not sure. Like, I don't know. I need details before I decide whether or not I'm going to Rome for FarCon. I'm highly unlikely to. I have to be honest, and not because I don't want to go to Rome, because I'd love to, but I can't imagine that that's going to work out for my schedule with children and such. So we'll see, especially next May, because I have a kid graduating and stuff. So we'll see. But it's always fun to see people getting excited, and I think FarCon Rome would be incredible and amazing, and Limone and crew are, great stewards for something like that. So
yeah,
they've done lots of hackathons and stuff like that there, so they have a good handle on some of it. So, all right. Anything else? Anything else from the news before we move over to CastOut?
I think we covered it.
All right. Awesome. Let's talk about the Ponder Challenge. So I'm going to pull this up here. I got to change my background. We're shifting to Cast that. We're shifting to CastOut, and we have to dive in and talk about the Ponder. The Ponder Challenge was really fun. So for those who may have missed it and don't know what we're talking about, this is CastOut. This is a Survivor-inspired competition game. Actually, it's Survivor and a couple other games inspired, which you'll start to see starting today. And it's pitting 8 different tribes. When we started, 40 players. They're all competing in challenges. And then also there's some voting that's happening, but we just had our last vote. So there's that. Okay. So let me bring this back up again. So we had the Ponder Challenge. Each tribe had to create a Ponder predictive poll by last night, and the poll with the most votes won immunity. So we had 5 different polls up. All of them were featured. So the Ponder team did manage to, they were a little slow in getting one of them up because there was a limit on 5. They finally got all 5 of them up there. So they're all still, I think, featured at the top of the Ponder mini app. So you can see them all if you still want to make your bet, make your prediction, because some of these have a pretty good sized pool of funds in them. I'll explain that in a moment. But we had from the Maya tribe, if DGen goes to 10 cents, will you diamond hand or paper hand? I, of course, answered diamond hand. What's interesting is they went back and forth on what images to use in the Ponder poll, and I personally think they had better images that they didn't use, and they talked themselves out of it. This is some of the things that kills me when I'm in the group chat. I'm just like, no, you're going down the wrong way. You were right. You were right the first time. But that's okay. I don't know if it would have made that much difference. And then from Cast Me Outside, what's most annoying? Hangry, hangover. I can't even read the rest of it. Too hot, too cold. So that was, kind of just a very fun, basic one. You had a most likely to succeed from Good News Tribe that was so funny and included Bert. And of course I voted for Bert. Just if Bert is in your poll, I'm probably voting for Bert. Like, let's just, line that up right now. But I thought that was funny because first of all, that picture of Dan looks like it could have been from high school, and it was probably last year or something. Like it could have been a picture from his high school. And then Kate Kaval and TLDR in there as well, which I thought was very smart. So very cute. And then in an alt universe, who is the best co-founder for V? Ted, Peachy, Jeff Goldberg, or Bert Wurst?
Bert.
Obviously. And the winners of our Ponder Challenge were Lil Socking, who their Ponder poll was, which project has the best community? And it was Farville, Degen, Hire, or Nouns. I actually voted for Degen on this one. This still hasn't finished up yet, but I really felt like this was smart in terms of let me pit communities against each other kind of thing to get attention. The other smart thing they did was they seeded this thing with like $100 right to start. I was like, what are you doing, you crazy people? So next time we might need a limit on this one because I did not, again,
you didn't expect that.
Again, the players do something I don't expect because why would you do that? Yeah, they go hard. They always go harder than I anticipate. So that was a lot of fun. Here's where we stand right now. Oops, nope, that's not where we stand right now. Here are our sponsors. Prize pool sponsor, Lil Nouns DAO. That's why it is CastOut Little Island. Octant, who we love, and we're going to talk a lot more about. They have a ton of stuff going on. We're going to catch up on all that tomorrow. Octant also is a premier partner with GM Farcaster. Purple, one of our prize pool sponsors. Thank you so much, Purple. We love you. And Degen has been our reward sponsor. So that's that. We're going to jump into our vote, and then I'm going to explain. We have 2 challenges left, and I'm going to explain today's, but also kind of just preview and what's happening tomorrow. But here is our vote. Are you ready? Any guesses?
Ready? No.
Okay. Here we go. First vote is for purple. Second vote, Cast Me Outside. I don't know who's in our chat here. I think Jackie's in there. Ooh, dramatic music. I know I needed some dramatic music. Purple. 2 votes purple, 1 vote Cast Me Outside. Purple and purple. And I'm sorry, purple, but you have been voted off the island. I'm sorry, purple. It's painful when one of our sponsors is voted off the island. I'm sorry.
Purple needed to win immunity.
They really did. It was pretty vital for a couple of them. And this is why I was like, oh, don't look at this yet. Because I forgot that I highlighted the ones that are still in. I forgot to uncheck purple as still in, but I did unhighlight them. So Cast Me Outside, good news. Lil Sock Gang and Maya are still in it. And there is no doubt in my mind, 0, that if Lil Sock Gang didn't win immunity, they were gone. Because why wouldn't you take them out? They've won everything. Get rid of them. I will say there was a tribe who voted for Lil Sock Gang to get out the other day. That was the right move, but it needed more work. So from a survivor perspective, you needed to build trust with them, tell them you weren't going to vote for them, get everybody to vote for them, and hope they don't use their immunity idol and get rid of them. Because they're going to take you out. However, things are changing today. So we've got a little bit of a shift. We got a little bit of a shift as to what's happening for this particular next challenge. And here's a little intro to the next challenge. Okay, it's an amazing POAP race. So also a fan of the Amazing Race. Also a fan of a couple other things.
I've never watched that show either.
Of course you haven't. You would love that show. You would absolutely love that show. I think they went to Mongolia one time. They just travel the world. So teams of 2, you can play with whoever. It's usually like, married couple, brother and sister, friends, whatever. And they go do challenges all around the world and go to really cool places. And it's really fun. So that is one actually, I think you would like that the best of all the competition shows, to be honest. So today there's going to be 7 challenges. There are 7 POAPs that will open up one each hour from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. And I'll be dropping all of the players who remain into one chat. I will, at the top of each hour, I'll drop a clue. And the first 2 tribes, there are only 2 POAPs available, 2 mints per POAP. And the first 2 tribes to grab them will keep themselves in the game. Your goal is to get the most POAPs that you can. And the top 2 tribes will go on to tomorrow. There's no more votes. There's no more immunity. This is it. We're down to what I call the halving. This is the halving. So only half of you are going to be left. So half the tribes will be leaving today. And then tomorrow, there's one final challenge, head to head. And then that's it. We'll have a final tribe. The final tribe will have one last task that they'll need to compete in. But the final tribe will split the bulk of the prize pool equally, and then there'll be a part of it that will be determined by a challenge. So that's what's going on for the next 3 days. So today, players who are left in the game, I'll be dropping you into a chat shortly. And yeah, half the tribes are still sleeping. True story. They got to wake up. They have about 45 minutes to wake up. Oh, that's right. I forgot. I think we talked about that, Sparks. She auditioned to be on The Amazing Race. You'd be perfect for that. That is a perfect competition game for you. Because you would love that. I'm sure that would be amazing for you. So today you only have to do this from the convenience of your phone or your computer. So we're going to see who comes out on top. But all of these challenges, so essentially it's a race that kicks off every hour, and it could last minutes or it could last the whole hour. We'll see. I expect it will happen very quickly. Very, very quickly. Wait, you were on American Gladiators, Sparks? How did I not know that? Is that true? Is that true? Or you just... Oh, Jen did too. Oh, wow. Cool. So yeah, this is going to be fun. This also is a way to get like 7 other touch points on Farcaster in one challenge. So it's very hard to create challenges for some of these apps. So we went it a little differently. So they're part of this. Oh, Jen, I thought you meant Spark. That makes so much more sense. That makes a lot more sense. It makes more sense that Sporty would be on American Gladiators. But I don't know. You're pretty fit, JC. You might have been able to pull that off as well. But Amazing Race makes a lot more sense. All right. So that's it to the players. I will be with you shortly. I'm going to be dropping you all in a group chat and explain more of these rules for today's challenge. Tomorrow, we will be back for... What time are we on tomorrow? Are we doing regular time? I have no idea what's going on.
Pacific West Coast friendly time on Mondays or Tuesday when we cancel Monday. Wednesday, 8:30, Friday, 8:30. We're back to East Coast times. Unless we have a guest that needs us to go later, then we'll be later. But luckily, by the end of this week, there will be a GM Farcaster mini app that you will be able to add, get notified when we go live. So
there you go. This is exciting.
So for now, we're on 8:30 tomorrow and Friday, and no more
guests. And we don't have any guests tomorrow, correct? Or Friday? I don't know.
No guests.
We have a couple of people who want to jump on. We'll see what we can make happen.
We talked about Dan coming on for some bigger announcements, but not scheduled yet.
Nothing yet. Okay. And then we'll be on also at noon for CastOut tomorrow. That's when we'll reveal. You'll know who the winners are because it'll be public. They'll have POAPs in their wallets today, but I will announce the next challenge at noon tomorrow. And then that'll be almost that. So very exciting, big day in CastOut world. I think that's it. Anything else, Adrienne?
No. All things CastOut. Good luck, players.
Good luck, players. We're getting down to it, so almost there.
Just a game. Have fun.
Exactly. And you know what? I've really appreciated shout outs from the different players about how much fun they were having and Just really enjoying it, as well as how frustrated they are at times, but also enjoying the process.
The
being part of
confessionals
it.
were incredible. I had so much fun watching them.
So good. I just posted a montage too. The montage is so funny. So go take a look at that as well if you haven't already. The Kyle Patrick Primal Scream was just hilarious from Dummy. So funny. And Rachel, you just killed it. Also, Rachel, I need to know which wallet you want your Lil Noun to go to. So I got to send you a message. Anyway, all right, here we go. That is it, everyone. We will see you tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. And until then, bye-bye. We're going out with our CastOut outro.